That thing on? Yeah, red light's on. I reckon it's a-working. How yous doing? Big Ball Daddy here to tell you the story about the history of America. Now, it's the 4th of July weekend here in this beautiful country, the United States of America. And us Americans, we like to celebrate shit. And one of our favorite things to celebrate here in the United States of America is the independence of our country, the United States of America. Now, you'll hear some fireworks going off here in the background from time to time, because it's almost the 4th, and these rednecks around here, they's already shooting them off. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of our country and why we're so proud and why we have this 4th of July holiday. Now, the 4th of July actually started back in 1774. A little known fact about this place is they was 13 original states, but they was called colonies, and they was owned by England. King George, he ruled us, King George III. Some people back then called him King George Earnhardt because of the three. But anyhow, old King George, he liked to tax us. And he was way over there, and we're over here. But we didn't have nobody from our 13 colonies over there to have no say in the British Parliament. So there was some fellers over here in the 13 colonies that was getting kind of pissed off about that. They figured it was kind of like taxation without representation. That shit ain't fair. So they all got to thinking. There's a bunch of them. I can't remember all their names, but there was Thomas Jefferson, Anthony Hancock, George Jefferson, Archie Bunker, and hell, there's a bunch of them. Paul Revere. There's a whole bunch of them that got together and started percolating and thinking shit up, But like I said, this is back in 1774, over 200 years ago, almost 230. 1875 rolled around, and boy, they's really getting pissed off. Too much taxing, not enough controlling. So they formed this committee, and they called it the Continental Congress. And the Continental Congress wasn't having none of this shit no more. So they started getting a plan together. They's gonna whoop old Britain like God if it was the last thing they done. They's tired of this shit. So, time just kept ticking away, and the tartar they got tired of it. The bigger and the more powerful that old King George got. Well, sometime along back in there, old King George caught wind of all these fellers over here making a ruckus, so he sent some troops over to Concord, New Hampshire, check on that shit, kind of put them colony boys in check. Well, they come over here, and they was wearing red coats, and this Paul Revere feller, he was riding around on his old mule one night in Concord, and he seen them coming. He said, "Oh shit, the British is a-coming, the British is a-coming," and he took off just to get it on that old mule down through downtown Concord. It's funny and shit. You should have been there. I seen it. I saw it happen. It was funny. Anyhow, that started it off right there then. There was going to be a war, and come hell or high water, we wasn't paying them damn taxes no more. After all, this was our land. We's the one over here plowing the fields and making the industry, and we's paying them some bitches over in England all the taxes. That don't make no sense. So around gathering all these people up, they signed this thing, it was the Declaration of Independence. That's what it was. That was basically their way of saying, hey, look here, King George Earnhardt, we ain't taking your shit no more. We ain't paying your taxes no more. In fact, basically, you can kiss our big red, white, and blue ass. That's what they said. That's how we got our colors, red, white, and blue. So they signed that thing, and old John Hancock, he was a feller that kind of swung it all into motion, I reckon. But word has it, old John signed that shit real big, so old King George didn't have to use his spectacles to see that we was getting our shit together and we wasn't taking their shit no more. So anyway, they rolled that thing up and stuck it in a bottle and put a cork in it and threw it out in the ocean. It floated over to Britain. And old King George got it, and he said, hell far. We're going to have to fight them some bitches, I reckon. Well, they done had them redcoats over here, so we went to squabbling, and you know what? We kicked their ass. That's right. The Americans, well, we wasn't Americans yet, was we? No, the colonists just flat wore them British some bitches out. They come over here eating crumpets and sipping tea, think they was going to whoop us. That ain't how a colonist rolls. So basically, we stuck a red, white, and boot right squarely up their ass. Toby Keith made a song something about that here not too long ago.
You'll be sorry that you mess with the US of A, 'cause we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
We stuck that red, white, and boot up their ass, and King George said, I piss on it. They can be independent. And there you go. July the 4th, 1776. That's what happened. But now, they signed that Declaration of Independence, and by God, we had us a country. Simple as that. Well, when they done that, there's a great big old bell in Philadelphia. I remember what they called it, but somebody rung that thing so damn hard it cracked it. And they thought, you know what, we got our liberty now, and they called it the Liberty Bell. That's how it happened. So anyhow, a year later, they started to celebrating that thing from a year ago on the 4th. And we said, shit, let's call it the 4th of July, Independence Day. That's the day we was born. You know, there was 2 states that didn't want to come along with us. Pennsylvania and South Carolina. Now that don't surprise me, because South Carolina, you know about them South Carolinas. Oh, I meant to tell you, the 13 original colonies, they was Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Delaware, Rhode Island, hell, there's a bunch of them. 13, to be exact. But Florida wasn't in it. They drawed the line right there and said, all that shit down there, we don't need none of that. Florida come along later. Tennessee was kind of off, you know, over there to the side a little bit. So we was just kind of sitting back going, yeah, we're going to sit back and watch and see what happens then, and we'll take over. And on the 4th of July, here in America, we like to celebrate. Now, there's a lot of people, they like to drink beer and liquor. You know, I don't cook out no hamburgers on the 4th of July no more. Can't do it. Can't eat them hamburgers and hot dogs. So in honor of our fair old country, America, I'm going to drink a water for you. Here's to you, America. My God, we love you. If I had some fireworks, I'd shoot them off right now, but I'm kind of partial to my fingers. I'll leave the fireworks shooting off to other people. But anyway, that's the story of how our country was born. If you don't believe me, by God, Google it. See ye. Oh, and by the way, have a happy and safe 4th of July. Don't pull a Damon Evans. Don't drink and drive.